It's live stream. It's live stream time. Here we go. Broadcasting to the World Wide Web. It must be very challenging for you all to go without me for 2 weeks. I was not around for 2 weeks, but I'm back, fighting fit and ready to go. I don't know, I can't see if I got anybody with me. No, there are no viewers presently. I am just sat on my own talking to a camera. Cheers to that. So I suppose I'm just going to have to rabbit on into the void for the purposes of the lovely, delectable, delightful video on demand viewers who watch after the fact, while I vamp and wait for, I say wait for, and hope for some live people to join me. Hopefully the word has got out. I left it really late. Hey, Will's here. I was just saying, Will, I left it really late to put the word out that I was going live tonight. And so I was getting a little concerned then. I was going to be sat just talking to myself. Hope everyone's doing great. Well, so far, my friend, you are the only active participant in the chat. And I've only got a handful of viewers, and I suspect one of them is me. On my screen here, so I can see what I'm streaming out. So we'll just mill around for a few minutes and chat, my friend, while we wait and see if any more heads make their way into the stream. Yay, there's Flaffle. How you doing, man? Just finished mowing the lawn. Lovely. Excellent. We're getting rid of our lawn. Little random side tangent here. We're getting rid of our lawn. We're going for fake grass because my son keeps wearing it out too quickly with playing football and basketball in the garden. And so it's a mud pit in the winter and a dust bowl. A big section of it, just a big mud pit that becomes a dust bowl when the weather improves, you know what I mean? It's an absolute pain in the backside. So we're just in the process of having the garden sorted out, funnily enough. Which is also a pain in the arse, but a short-term pain in the arse. Hopefully it'll be done and dusted soon enough. But a pleasure to have you here, Flaffle, my friend. Pleasure as always. I'm just checking all my stuff is set up and ready to go. I assume then you've got good weather in order to get out there with your mower. And how things in New York State as well, Will? Looking good over there? Da, da, da. Yeah, I tell you what, I've got a sore back today. I'm such an old man. Absolute raging sore back. Is the camera a bit too zoomed in on me today? I can't. Is it as zoomed out as it can be? I don't know what's going on. I feel like it's super close to me. 80 and sunny. What's 80 in British temperatures? I'll Google it to find out. Yeah, no worries, man. I'm going to be here for a while. 80 F to C. Oh, 26. Yeah, pretty warm. Yeah, not bad at all. Just had to translate that into British speak there. Oh, dear. All right, well, let's give it another minute or two, and then we'll get started on the pre-prepared material. But you are, of course, all here once again to
listen to your friend Chris,
where your friend Chris, talks about his life and times as an adult collector and shares some thoughts and views on some things that have caught his eye in the last 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since my last stream. I had to skip last week because I had a very early morning start due on Wednesday morning for a work commitment, which meant that I thought better of streaming late into the night, you know, because it's obviously gone 10 o'clock over here right now. But I got me a nice brew to give me a bit of energy, a bit of a boost to keep me going. So I'm all set and ready to go. Got some pre-prepared material to discuss. And then, of course, I'll open the floor for any questions, comments, queries, concerns, challenges. Just noticed that my Superman is still in the light box there. This is the next review, this side. Next review to get posted. And I was making my thumbnail photograph last night, and I've left all me stuff out. Hey. Look at the goofy face. Spoiler alert, the review is going to express displeasure at these goofy teeth. There we go, Superman in the house. All right then, well, we're at 5 past. Let's get properly started then. So for Will and Fluffle when he gets out the shower. But of course, for the purposes of the video on demand people as well, I have some prepared material. I'm going to share some thoughts and comments on a few bits and bobs that have caught my eye over the last couple of days, although I've noticed just in the last hour that one of the things I've lined up to talk about is already a wee touch out of date, but that's okay, I can still talk about it. So I've got my notes ready to go, all there, to cover off a few bits and bobs, but as usual, I'll pause at various intervals through the course of the stream to take a look at what chat's thoughts and comments are on the various things that I am discussing and commentating on today. And I invite anyone watching after the fact to head on down to the comments and do the same. Share some thoughts and comments on the things that I am going over today. So I've got my little news window here, ready to share some pickies so I can show you what I'm talking about and what I've got going on. So let's get into it, shall we? Let's get started. And we'll just, if anyone else shows up, they can play catch-up, can't they? Quick swig of me brew. All right, then. So let's kick off with a little bit of McFarlane Toys news there. So a couple of days ago on the social medias, this photo, well, a little selection of pictures, I've got one of the other ones as well, started to do the rounds. This had been discovered in Hong Kong, picked up by someone over in Hong Kong who on Instagram goes by at ALAW2046. Because I'm such a nice guy, I'll drop their link in the chat there. So folks can go and have a look at the full suite of photos that they shared, which was a DC Multiverse, McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse, Dark Knight trilogy Tumbler, with a Lucius Fox figure in the box as well. So managed to get the hands on it early. I don't know, out the back door of the factory or whatever. This had not been announced, or at this point had not been officially announced or revealed by McFarlane Toys themselves. Folks sort of dissected some of the stuff with regards to the box. You can see right in the top corner there, got the little gold label sticker on it and stuff. Caused a bit of a stir. A lot of people very excited. You know, folks love a Batmobile. The 1989 one, I heard good things. Folks were keen on them. You know, my man Brian, who sometimes swings by the stream, had picked himself one up and had said some positive things and enjoyed his Batmobile a great deal. So I thought I'd just touch on it for a moment. One of the key attractive features of it was the two-seater element there. Folks were very excited to see a big two-seater vehicle. Although a lot of speculation around what the potential price was going to be. And that's, you know, anybody's guess at this stage. Well, I think it's anybody's guess at this stage. I'm not 100% because since I prepped up my little slideshow, which I did yesterday, I prepped my slideshow up yesterday, I noticed on McFarlane's own Instagram today that they had actually, like, formally, officially put it out there and said, hey, check out this, you know, this new Batmobile we got coming down the pipeline, the Tumbler. So they'd actually put their official formal pickies outlook. So it's out there now as an official announcement with some better quality kind of promotional photos than these kind of shaky Instagram shots taken by an enthusiast who managed to get his hands on it over in Hong Kong. So it's gold label. It's a McFarlane store exclusive, which is obviously a point of contention, a pain point. You know, I've discussed this a couple of times on the stream right now that particularly for us over here in Europe and the UK, it's becoming increasingly difficult to get even mainline figures There's a handful of stuff that's reaching store shelves, like Game and Smiths and Forbidden Planet, which is like your like movie tie-ins and stuff, but your more obscure stuff. So this might end up coming over here. But the Dark Knight trilogy figures that came out a little while ago, which I bought as a multi-buy, the Bane builder figure, they were very difficult to track down over here. A lot of people going disappointed. So whether there'll be a lot of people going disappointed also. Bobby's here. Hiya, Bobby. How you doing, my friend? And Bobby's asking a question there. Let's pop this up on screen for the video on demand viewers. Does it do that weird fold down power seat when Batman's using his weapon system? Oh, interesting question. So I don't know. The guy who had who'd got hold of it and was taking the photos had put the two bikes either side because there'd been the Catwoman with the shootout bike within it, but I haven't seen anything. And the Instagram post that they made just literally in the last hour or two doesn't give much more away. It just says pre-order on May the 31st. So in 10 days' time, hopefully we'll get a little bit more information, perhaps around its articulation, functionality, price, and so on and so forth. But squinting and having a close look at the picture, it does look like there's been a bit of room left there to do some jiggery-pokery with that console that the Lucius figures sat in front of there, isn't there? So who knows? Hopefully so. I mean, that'd be great. But as we well know, Todd's not the most well-known for, for making sure things have playtime articulation elements to them. I've got my McFarlane Superman that just recently arrived here. I was talking about that just before you came along, Bobby. And I've just done the review. That will be going live probably tomorrow now. I've finished recording and editing it. And it's the classic McFarlane limited articulation. And I would anticipate something similar in the quality of his vehicle builds, that it'd be just something a bit more straightforward and less exciting. But, folks love a Batmobile. They love a Batmobile. The 1989 one was extremely popular. There's a lot of folks who really like the Dark Knight trilogy, the Nolan trilogy, and the Tumbler is like a really awesome Batmobile. It'd be, I can definitely see a world in which McFarlane, over a period of the next couple of years, will have, because they've got the 66 Batmobile out there, haven't they, as well? I definitely saw a 66 Batmobile. I don't know, has he done the animated series one? I'm trying to remember. Does anyone know if he's done the animated series one? I don't think I've seen the animated series one, although that is an awesome Batmobile. So in time, I could see maybe if you were so inclined, you could have a whole collection of 7-inch scale classic Batmobiles of through the ages in terms of TV and cinema. I'm just trying to think about the different designs of Batmobiles over the years that have been particularly popular. I've always liked the 90s comic book one, with the kind of really pointy front and the big bat wings out the back. That's the one that I've always been a fan of. So, yeah, it's hard to say on that, Bobby. I don't know. Obviously, it's clearly got an opening canopy in order to put the figures in. Let's just go back to the other picture. Yeah, there's not giving much away there, is it? I'd have to revisit, but here's the Instagram posters Instagram page. Just drop that in the chat there, and I'll put it in the description probably tomorrow now for anyone who watches this after the fact. So you can go and have a look. So maybe they've commentated a bit more, provided a little bit more detail since. I noticed that they'd made multiple posts on the subject. Flaffle in the chat there, folks, says, always go for the Lego Batmobiles. Yeah, that's a strong, like as a thing to collect. Lego Batmobiles is cool. I like classic Star Wars vehicles. I've got some Lego vehicles knocking around. And Will's having a bit of, what's that there? Sorry, I lost my internet connection while I was on my way home. I was on the bus and lost connection. However, I'm home and can follow with what you have to say. Okay, thank you. That's dedication, folks. That's MoDXtra Games and Collectible viewing community dedication there being demonstrated by Will. I thank you, sir, for your efforts to remain live and active for me in the live stream. It's very much appreciated. What a ledge Wilfredo Diaz is. Yeah. So there you go. There's the Batmobile. I mean, as always, it's the usual kind of perspective from me, from my own point, in terms of my own point of view. Looks interesting. Vehicles are always going to be a head turner when they hit the news, but space and budget, my real estate, my display real estate is always going to be an issue, especially with larger scale vehicles like this. I'm already stretching the limit with the small number of G.I. Joe classified vehicles I've got knocking around, like the Trouble Bubble and Serpentor's Chariot and such like, this will be an easy pass for me. The price, I mean, I've seen folks speculating that the price is going to be upwards of $250, $300. I'm not so sure about that. I saw the Batman 1989 one going for, what was it, about $100? So I think it might be fairly reasonably priced. Oh my! I just took a quick glance at my my stream info. And I gained and lost a couple of viewers very quickly. And so for somebody's jumped in, taken a quick look at me and gone, nah, not for me. And done one. Oh well, can't please everybody. Can't please everybody. So there you go, bit of McFarlane Toys news. Vehicle, it's quite a head turner. To reiterate, pre-order May the 31st, and the word is that it's going to be a McFarlane store exclusive. So there you go. Ooh, but Bobby's got something to say there. Let's have a look very quickly before I move on to the next kind of news item. I saw somebody spent money and built a full-size Tumbler to drive around. Not me. If I was going to put money into a vehicle, I would build a thunder machine, people, to get out of your way at that point. Yeah, so there's a group of guys over here who've built, I've seen, they've got a couple of Batmobiles and like an Ecto 1 from Ghostbusters. And they've got some of the sort of classic 80s TV shows like an A-Team van and a Dukes of Hazzard car. And they've got the Magnum, was it Corvette with the wings on it? What's the one with the wings on painted on the top? And their whole thing is just like driving their car to a convention or a special event and doing it. So it may even be the same guys that you've seen the piccies of there. But I wish I had the industrious nature to do so. Hey there, G-Force. How's it going, my man? Fluffle's saying, did you see this one, Chris? Which one? What one? Have you posted a link? Or maybe it's... Yeah, I think maybe you posted a link, and I can't see links right now that have gone into chat, although I think links are permitted. $80 for a Hot Wheel. So I'll have to have a swing back through and see Fluffle on that one. I saw like Playmobil as well. Playmobil are doing stuff, aren't they? Like they've got a DeLorean, Back to the Future DeLorean, and Ghostbusters and stuff. An Ecto 1. I thought Playmobil, bloody hell. You know what I mean? So there's definitely something in those classic look vehicles. I mean, everybody knows as well, certainly of our generation, at a glance, a black Volkswagen van with a red Go Faster stripe, you're just like, 18, you know what I mean? Or a yellow, the turtle van with the shell top and the yellow paint job, and the shell on the spare tyre cover and stuff. Batmobiles are obviously classic vehicles. Your James Bond stuff, your Aston Martins and what have you. They're just so sort of ubiquitous and fundamental in that kind of pop culture zeitgeist now, aren't they? That certainly folks of our generation, the massive man-child nerd types, could easily get very excited over that stuff. I was talking to someone the other day about Saturday night telly. And that we were talking about Knight Rider and Airwolf and what was the bike? What was the motorbike? I didn't really watch that one. Oh shit! I've just had a brain fart on the name of the motorbike. But like Kit and the Airwolf. I love the Airwolf helicopter. Brilliant. Oh, they've posted a camo version of the Tumbler as well. Okay, yeah, I missed that. So I was just saying before, GeForce, that I prepped the day before. So I did set up all my slides and everything, got everything all prepped yesterday. And then I noticed I was sat on the sofa before. I had a bit of dinner and stuff, and I was just watching a bit of telly. I had an episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine on while I ate my dinner. Just some chicken nuggets and fries that I did in the air fryer, if anyone's curious, with a bit of barbecue dipping sauce. But I was just doing the old phone scroll while I was eating my nuggets. And I noticed that they posted, and I'm like, oh man, why would they do that to me when I prepped everything yesterday? Sods, you know what I mean? But that's the way that goes. And then Flatfield says, Hot Wheels, Transformers, Optimus Prime, Diecast and Transformers, pre-order started today, $80, 1/64 scale. Oh, wow. I was in a shop the other day, and they've got, they had the transforming Optimus Prime and the transforming Galvatron in a glass cabinet, and they've got a little speaker on it so you can say the command words to make it do, and that was really impressive. And that was like 800 quid. I was like, okay, it's awesome, but it's not 800 quid awesome. Street Hawk, there we go. Were you just singing the theme for Airwolf? I most certainly was, my friend. I most certainly was. I have strong nostalgic kind of Airwolf. Do you know what? It's funny, though, because that theme song, deeply embedded, and I can sort of picture the title sequence and the helicopter so clearly in my mind, and what's his name, his little buddy, the old fella, and all that. But if you ask me to tell you what happened story-wise in any of the episodes, I couldn't do it. Do you know what I mean? I know I watched them, and I remember watching them, but I couldn't tell you a thing about, if you said, like, who's this character, or what was that villain in that episode, couldn't tell you a thing. But the theme song and the titles, firmly ingrained, deeply embedded in there. And yes, the motorbike was Street Hawk. Will, ready, willing, and able with an 80s nostalgia knowledge, and that's what I rely on you fine folks for, because you're awesome for that. All right, let's move off the McFarlane toy stuff, and let's go to watch with interest things at the minute. So we're going to move over to a bit of fresh monkey fiction and talk about the Operation Monster Force, which is the line that I've been following with interest and talked about a couple of times. Still waiting for some more detail on the pre-orders, which we all made 12 to 18 months ago. But what they did show the other day was some more images of the Series 1 Count Dracula figure. So there's one of the pictures there of him in a kind of action pose with his sword out. And then... Oh, wait, before I carry on about Operation Monster Force, this is important information. I heard after the show... Airwolf, they sold that helicopter to a rescue group, and the very first mission it went on, it crashed. Oh, no. I mean, what do you say to that? And then GeForce, can't wait to see these in person at Joe Fest. Thank you, that's where I was getting me back on track, GeForce, keeping me on the rails. So, yeah, they've revealed this figure here, and it's looking all right. It's looking decent. I mean, I've said before that I'm less interested in Operation Monster Force for the more supernatural figures like this Dracula. I think I put the more kind of, the sort of intimidating at the gates of his castle kind of pose there. But I'm less interested in the ones with the more kind of supernatural elements to them. I've gone for the more soldiery looking things like the Crimson Moon Trooper folks. I say gone for, I have them on pre-order presently. But I'm very excited now to see some stuff finally coming down the pipeline. And these are looking decent. You can't really see because I've got it in my little breakout news window, but I would encourage you to go and take a closer look at these. I'll just drop the link in chat for the Operation Monster Force page on Big Bad Toy Store. But if you go and have a look on the Fresh Monkey Fiction Instagram or Facebook page, for example, and have a closer look at the figures, these pictures, his face looks a bit plain and shiny and a bit of a bland paint job, which has got me a little bit concerned, although not too much, because the figures that I've taken an interest in and have put my pre-orders in are helmeted freaky soldier types anyway. However, if you were interested in the more supernatural side of things and you're going for the Dracula, I don't know, go and have a closer look. But I would be getting to G-Force's point there, if I bring that back up on screen, for anyone watching after the fact, about the fact that they're going to be at Joe Fest. I saw some Instagram posts talking about their Eagle Force. They were going to show off some Eagle Force stuff, which I also have some 4-inch bits on pre-order. In fact, it was Bobby that convinced me to do it. He was like, yeah, do it. So I can't, obviously I can't get to Joe Fest. It's on the other side of the ocean, but I know a lot of you folks are going, and I'll be very interested to see the photos and the in-hand stuff, getting piccies out of those glass cabinets and sharing them around, which I know you folks will. Instagram is going to be very lively on that day. Okay, Bobby there in chat, everybody. Pre-ordered the General. Yeah, so I've done the same. The General, because I just feel like he's generically useful. Pop him in with Action Force, pop him in with G.I. Joe Classified. Even, a General has a place with your Marvel Legends sometimes. Depends on what you're trying to do and what sort of man-child playtime you're having. But he's a good generic figure. And they give him all those different head swaps, haven't they? To give you a range of choice, range of options, so that you can really make good use of the figure in various different ways. And then I've gone for those Crimson Moon Troopery guys because they're just so kind of nostalgically reminiscent of the old Palatoy Red Shadow type stuff, although I'll come to that subject in a moment. Let's have a look. Let's see what G-Force has got to say. Are we taking video this year? Brilliant. Yeah, so is that what's that going to be like? G-Force, like a bit of a, over on the channel, a bit of a video blog type thing. Have you got yourself a gimbal ready to go? And a wireless microphone? something for your audio. But yeah, I'd definitely be interested in that. You're all set, folks. I need to just feed the bad habit briefly. So, yeah, I'll be very excited to see that, G-Force, absolutely. And you have to hunt down all the guys, all the regulars from around the chat and stuff in the Discords and out and about, and make sure you get some faces on the screen. I know a lot of these folks are going to be at Joe Fest. Are you going, Bobby? Did I see you mention in the Discord that you were on your way? Well, look, no need to say, don't dox yourself. Or sort of dox yourself, if you know what I mean. So yeah, Operation Monster Force, continuing to watch the line with interest and see how it pans out. Very keen now for these Season 1 figures to start getting out there in hand. I know it'll take a little while for my pre-orders to make their way over from the US when they're released, but very, very keen to see some in-hand reviews and some in-hand experiences. And if I end up just picking up those 2 troopers and then saying, not for me, not doing it, then that's fine. But still, certainly following with interest. Some of you guys who were around a couple of weeks ago saw my Fresh Monkey Fiction Father Christmas figure in an impromptu little show and tell of that guy. So we'll see. But I haven't had much other experience of Fresh Monkey Fiction. Like I say, I've got a couple of Eagle Force 4 inches coming my way because, again, I'm interested in the ones that have a little bit of a red shadowy vibe from the old Action Force, Battle Action Force kind of days. But there you go. Okay, G-Force has followed up and answered my question. Yeah, vlog style around the con. Last year was shabby and my first time, so we wanted to take it all in. Yeah, I can appreciate that, G-Force, absolutely. In fact, I think I remember hearing you say that, talking about that, when talking about wanting to take it all in. Were you on with Vern, maybe, talking about that? I seem to remember you saying last year that it was more about enjoying the con than sort of using it for content, which is fine. But yeah, I'm really interested to see what you got going on, vlog style there, man. So I can live vicariously through your experience because I'm obviously not able to get over there. It's just the price of the flights alone, Jesus. And who wants to get on a Boeing right now? Certainly not me. Yeah, Bobby said he got too much on this year, maybe next year. Sure, yeah. I'll be making my way over to the one of the MCMs over here in the UK. I think there's a couple coming up, and there's a toy fair, and then a Comic Con. I'll talk about Comic Con in a minute, although I'm not going to the London one that I'm talking about later. Bobby's hoping we'll see a 6-inch Baron Ironblood. Yeah, absolutely, man. I am right there with you. I mean, you know how I feel about that because, as I've said many times, and I know this is a bit of repetition for some of you guys who come and hang out with me regularly, but if anyone's stumbling across this for the first time, I will reiterate once again. But my love of G.I. Joe comes from being a young kid and, you know, being down the newsagent, my dad saying, get yourself a comic, and I'd buy an Action Force off the shelf, and they were Battle Action Force to begin with, and I'd buy like Battle Action Force and Dan Dare and 2000 AD or whatever. I'd just buy a comic because my dad said I could have 40p, 50p to get a comic as it was back then. And, you know, it was Baron Ironblood and the Black Major and, you know, the Red Shadows and all that that I was reading about in those. And then, of course, the shift over in, 86, 87, into the American G.I. Joe that they kind of integrated into the line. And I'd never seen the G.I. Joe cartoon until years later. I was much older. I think I saw the movie, G.I. Joe the movie, but I hadn't actually sort of seen like a Saturday morning cartoon, G.I. Joe Saturday morning cartoon for a long time after that. So I've got strong, some of my very first 3 3/4 inch figures were the Battle Action Force Red Shadow stuff, you know. So I would love to see a Baron Ironblood and a Black Major and the Red Laser, which of course is the Eagle Force stuff that's not named that, but is obviously that I've gone in for, just so that I can get a little kind of Palatoy style modern interpretation of the figures on display, because I think that'd be very exciting. So I'm in a strong agreement, Bobby. You and I are a like mind around our desire to see this stuff. I mean, if Classified did one, I think my head would literally blow my mind. You know, if Yojo June in a couple of weeks are like, we've got a surprise for you. Take a look at this 6-inch Baron Ironblood we've done. You know, white outfit, big red triangle, his massive black helmet, a couple of guns, although the kind of AK-47 style they were over here, I'd be like, yes, 1,000 times yes, pre-order 2. You know what I mean? But I just don't know if it'll happen, because while you're knowledgeable on this, Bobby, and maybe you guys can let me know in chat as a kind of ongoing discussion point for this week's chat, how familiar are folks with the sort of classic British, you know, Battle Action Force type stuff? You know, I know we've got enthusiasts such as yourself who are aware of and taken an interest, but is it as well known over there? And then GeForce, a little bit of a Joe Fest update. There are probably a dozen of us meeting up from UK to Seattle. Oh, and just as a momentary G.I. Joe classified interval, Flaffle's asking, anyone in the UK getting those classified ferrets, or is that elsewhere in the world? No, it's over here. It's over here. So the other day, when the shipping notification went out from Hasbro Pulse, the UK classified groups that I'm in on Facebook and Discord and stuff, just, you know, obviously everyone screenshotted the email, they're coming. And then as they arrived through the week, just pages and pages of photos of people cracking open their ferrets. I did not buy one, which I do have some small amount of regret about that, but I don't really want the ferret. I really like the kind of the BMX bike helmet on, and the female rider. I think that's really cool. So I'm just kind of waiting and seeing if someone has bought 2 ferrets and wants to get rid of one of the biker troopers, you know. But yeah, they've all started shipping over here in the UK. So it's here that you've seen those pictures from. I'll just go very quickly, just keeping the pace up. So this hit my radar the other day. So it was on Fresh Monkey Fiction's own Instagram and Facebook, but it was at Classic Toys UK over on Twitter, who I interact with virtually sometimes, who put this on my radar because he knows I'm enthusiastic. So this guy, Dan Black, checks notes. Dana Black, who you can find at Dana Black Forever on Instagram. There's a link to his Instagram. Oh no, that's Fresh Monkey Fiction's Instagram. And there's Dana Black's Instagram in chat for the folks who are hanging out with me live. And that is, very, very Battle Action Force, the Baron, the Major, the Action Force version of Destro there. And at Classic Toys UK implied in the tweet that he copied me into that this will be a part of the Series 3 releases because it said Beware the Crimson Moon, using the Operation Monster Force title for this sort of evil, nefarious group of people. So there we go. So Wilfredo there, answering my question. I only heard about Action Force here on YouTube. Yeah, so it's not got the... The G.I. Joe obviously came over here and got integrated into the Action Force in the UK. But I don't think Action Forcey stuff kind of made its way back. Although there are people, I've spoken to US sort of military toy fans who know all about it. So I think if you're a deep enthusiast, and I mean like deep enthusiast, then you'd be across it. Hey, Jono's here. Hi, Jono. Sup, Chris and chat. Thumbs up. Yeah, nothing much. We're just talking about ongoing follow with interest position when it comes to Operation Monster Force. So I've just had a bit of a chat about the new Count Dracula Series 1 photos that went up. And then this little pic that was by at Dana Black Forever. That Classic Toys UK. I think he copied you in as well, didn't he, on Insta, Jono? Yumi and Connor with it, put it on my radar. So Beware the Crimson Moon. And obviously, if these are Operation Monster Force 6-inch, a Baron, a Major, a Destro, and some red ladies. So what they did with the Eagle Force, 4 inches, which the Wolfie guys at the back there are the same, is they've done the Wolfie guy in the red kind of gear, but there's a head swap for a really classic red laser looking helmet. So if this is them nudge, wink, winking that Series 3, which I joked on Twitter, we'll probably not see till 2030. Then we'll see what will happen. So Jono, that's an interesting point, Jono. So these look cool as hell, but I can see Hasbro kicking off legal-wise on these designs. Yeah, okay, so hang on one sec. Let me just see if I can do something quickly live and on the fly. So I'll go to the Eagle Force page. Get my keyboard one sec. If I go over to the Eagle Force page, Eagle Force Fresh Monkey Monkey Fiction. Here we go. And I can't remember what wave it was. Let me just have a quick look. Is it the 40th anniversary stuff? I think it's the 40th anniversary stuff. Yeah, here we go. Now, what I want to try and do is share that. So if I go to... I really should avoid trying to do things on the fly like this. There we go. So here this is a blank bit of wall with a light shining on it. A little Superman poking his head up there, and my headphones. Maybe I'll lean over there. Lovely bit of Frank Quietly artwork up there. But this is the Eagle Force Killer Warg. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And so there it is with the wolf head. But you can obviously swap it out. And I mean, look at that. Look at the uniform. Look at the helmet. And then you got this kind of stubbly face with the beret. And they're called the Apophis Legion Crimson Moon Werewolf Troopers. And then if I go back out to the menu, there's the Crimson Moon Legionnaire. And look at this guy. Look at that. Look at these. And the way the uniform is. You know what I mean? And then if we go back and find... where's the big man? Where's the big man? Oh, he's tucked away in that multi-pack. But let me see if we've got him individually. Ah, there we go. And the Count Iron Moon here. There we go. Take a look at this, man. I mean, look at that. So I may have mentioned this on a previous. I think I may have mentioned this on a previous stream. So obviously you can see the body there. These are the 4-inch versions, but you can see the body there, with the sort of classic look and feel, very reminiscent of the Baron. Although this is the Count. Oh yeah, they did a Kraken too. No, that was on page 1. Back on page 1, wasn't it? One sec. Yeah, here they go. They call it Gorgills. Here. Look at that. Look at that. Even with the big fishbowl helmet there. So you got the Gorgills, but if you pick up sort of the Black Mage with his helmet, pop that head on it, or not that head on it. Sorry, the head on it from the Killer Warg. So you pop that head on your Black Major, then you pop. Are you following along, all right? Then you pop that helmet on your Count Iron Moon. There we go, and then obviously you put that helmet on, or back on the Killer Warg. So you just do a bit of head swapping in amongst the 3 figures. You've basically got a Count, a Black Major, and a red laser there. So going back to your original point there, Jono, about Hasbro. Hang on, let me just press the button to go back to the other screen. There we are, and let me close these. I'll move you guys back over here so I can read the chat properly. Going back to your original point around, will Hasbro have a bit of a kickoff? Let me see if I can find your original comment there. These look cool as hell, but I can see Hasbro kicking off legal-wise with these designs. The designs are already out there. Those Eagle Force figures, which this Crimson Moon poster is clearly... hinting at in the Operation Monster Force 6-inch line. At least that's what Classic Toys UK was indicating to me, that this was going to be the inspiration for Series 3. Then Hasbro are snoozing on that. They're resting on their laurels in that respect. So let's just see what folks have got to say there. Well, Flaffle, you're very sweet. Absolutely, folks. Don't forget to throw a like. Helps me out on discoverability. And then Jono noticing, oh, wow, they did a Kraken. And then Bobby's saying, they look great, but I'm going to wait for them to go 6-inch. Oh, Bobby, but right. So I'm sure it was you. And then when I said, should I do dabble in 4-inch? I'm sure it was you. He was like, yeah, do it. Go on. Was it not? Maybe not. But yeah, I think you're right. I've pre-ordered those Eagle Force 4 inches, more out of curiosity, but as a singular, like I'm not collecting Eagle Force. I've just pre-ordered those 3 to do that little bit of head swapping then. I've just got a little small thing. If I like them, then I might get a couple more Killer Wargs. So I've got, some more Red Shadow Troopers. John is just following up on the conversation there. True, Chris, but those were 3.75 figures, which Hasbro don't really push now apart from Star Wars. But 6-inch figures compete with classified. That's also a great point, Jono. Yeah, I can't argue with that. Well, time will tell. Let's see. Let's see. I'd obviously be very excited to see these turn up in Operation Monster Force, but I'd be even more excited if Hasbro produced an actual G.I. Joe classified version of this, this breakaway unit. I mean, they did turn up. I'm not massively familiar with the Devil's Due comics, but I'm pretty sure the Action Force, Red Shadowsy stuff did turn up in the Devil's Due Action Force comics. Bobby, you're pretty good with this stuff, so you might know off the top of your head, so correct me if I'm wrong. That's probably one area of G.I. Joe that I'm utterly clueless about, is Devil's Due related stuff, although I'm trying to play catch up on some of that. Hasbro jumped all over Ramen Toys for the mask designs. Oh, did they? Okay. Well, Ramen Toys is still selling them, though, isn't he? Or is this licensing laws out in the East compared to US patent laws and stuff, maybe? Bobby Vallo was able to nab the Action Force name because Hasbro let the license slip. Well, maybe that's what's going on. If they've let the license slip, maybe there's... Who am I to comment? I don't know. I just could only speak to what I've seen. And the Fresh Monkey Fiction are, putting that out there. That's on their Instagram. That's on their Facebook. So we'll see. We'll see. Watching with interest, as I say. It's all about kind of keeping an eye on these things and watching with interest. But even the figures that they've done that are kind of inspired by are pretty cool. They also almost lost the rights to Serpentor and a ton of Joe characters. Yes, I heard about that too. Can you imagine if they did? Jesus. So there you go. Bit of coverage, bit of chat about Fresh Monkey Fiction, folks. That has caught my eyes. Let me check notes to see what's next on my list. But please do go check out Dana Black Forever, the artist who's done that piece of work. His Instagram page has got loads of his artwork on. Really super cool. Cracking little artist there. And of course, if you like me or following with interest the Fresh Monkey Fiction stuff, then go and check out Fresh Monkey Fiction's Instagram page and Facebook page to stay on top of things. Quick toot on my vape pen. And then let's get to the next one, which is the MCM Comic Con London. So, just a quick reminder, folks, that's coming up this weekend. And InDemandToys, an independent retailer here over in the UK, have been posting quite frequently about the fact that they've partnered with Hasbro to display some Hasbro product in addition to their retail operation. And they've said we've got a massive space. Half of it's going to be our retail, and then there's going to be some interesting display type stuff going on. And in some earlier posts, they were indicating that it'd be some figures on display. They're giving leaking out more information in a recent Instagram post, which I think I linked to. No, that's the wrong one. Ignore that. I'm not talked about that yet. There you go. Their Instagram post. They said that on Friday Hasbro will be displaying some recently released figures, but on Saturday and Sunday they will be displaying some new unreleased items. And they've also listed a number of kind of YouTube content creatory types that are going to be there doing meet and greets and stuff, which may be indicating some of the stuff that they're going to be putting on display. So they've got Dan Who reviews there, a big Marvel Legends guy, and so that likely indicating there could be some Marvel Legends stuff in the cabinet. Then they've got Toys R Us, who's a big Transformers content creator, so maybe some Transformers stuff. Then they've got Sith Lord there, who's big on Black Series, so maybe some Black Series stuff. And then they've got Bosk's Bounty there, who's a big Star Wars vintage guy, and so therefore might be some vintage stuff. So disappointing for classified fans, because we did have a cheeky little reveal at MCM Comic Con last year, which was, he says, checking records. But I should be able to tell you what I think it was last year. If I go to this folder here, and then go to this folder here, then open this folder here, and then in the MCM reveal, I have... was it Mutton Junkyard? Maybe. I've got pictures of Mutton Junkyard in my MCM and 1027 folder, because I've obviously not kept great records. I've two stuff in together. So they've done reveals before, and InDemandToys at their birthday celebration as a store, they had some of the upcoming Marvel Legends stuff. So we saw a peek at some of the Wolverine 50th anniversary figures at their store event, their birthday anniversary store event. So there is precedent there for stuff being shown. On the Marvel Legends side, I mean, there's a lot of announced things. that we know about that haven't been released. They're on pre-order, so it's likely that there's not going to be anything. There's a possibility, in fact, a probability, I would say, that there's going to be things in that cabinet that we know about. So there's your Warbird, there's your new Luke and Iron Fist. Here's the Hulkbuster that we just showed off the other day, kind of thing. And I also noticed that, like, Dan Hu has been reviewing some of the Marvel, like he had the new Cable that had been announced on the most recent wave and something else. So I was like, okay, well, and Dan Hu clearly gets early reveal preview products from Hasbro over here, because those figures from that wave are still not due for a couple of weeks in the UK. But I thought, well, if they've sent them over to InDemandToys, have they slung one in for him to review, that kind of thing. So it might not be the words unreleased figures, to quote directly, new unreleased items is what it says in their post. Jono says Mutton Junkyard were revealed at SDCC in a cabinet. Okay, in which case then that folder where I've kept notes and pictures is probably a misfiling, but there was definitely something G.I. Joe classified that happened at one of the MCM Comic Cons. I just cannot remember what happened when. But what was I saying there? Yeah, so unreleased is kind of a bit of a loose term, isn't it? Because it does sort of cover them in the sense of actual, 3 in-hand figure reveals, obviously in a glass cabinet rather than in hand, but on display of stuff that we've been shown that's available for pre-order but is not technically released yet. So there's a possibility that the Legends, Transformers, Black Series, TVC stuff, that they're going to be popping in that display cabinet at the InDemandToys stall exhibition area is not new surprise like reveal, but is actually just stuff we know is coming down the pipeline, but it's an actual here, see it for realsies. You've seen promo photos and a digital render, now here it is, kind of thing, which could be the case. But yeah, no kind of guest content creator speaker for G.I. Joe Classified, no guest content speaker there for things like Power Rangers. So that list of names implies that there's going to be some Legends stuff there, some Transformers stuff there, some Black Series and some Vintage Collection. So obviously disappointed because I'm a big Classified guy. I'll be keeping an eye out for any pickies of any stuff Legends related. Yes, Jono. So Jono in the chat for the benefit of video on demand viewers has said unreleased covers anything from pipelines to pre-orders. Really, I think in demand are just hyping shit up big time. Yeah, that's what I was implying. Without you've taken the shot right to the middle of the target where I was kind of dancing around it because I was trying to be a little bit nice to demand toys. But yeah, you've entirely. Got what I'm nodding towards there. Yeah. So I'll be keeping an eye on it for sure, seeing what kind of pictures and stuff may crop up and come around. But just putting it on folks' radar, just to keep an eye out on Insta, on the off chance, I suppose. On the off chance there's something there that makes us all go, ooh. Oh, right, wet the whistle a little bit. Okay, so there's the convention reminder. And then finally, as I come towards the hour, just a brief moment's indulgence, bit of self-indulgence, if you'll allow me, folks. So some of you may know the Universal Toy Collector, Stu, the Universal Toy Collector. He got in touch and invited me to come along and be a guest on his series. Sorry, I was reading Jono's comment and then trying to talk at the same time. So let me cover Jono's comment first. So Jono's comment says, but for InDemand to give over half their stall space to Hasbro, I'm thinking HasLab's on show. Yeah, and that'd be awesome, wouldn't it? If there was a dragonfly to be seen. So yeah, Stu got in touch, asked me if I'd be if he could interview me for the My Collecting Life series that he does on his channel. Which is basically an hour or so where Stu kind of asks some questions about, what your early memories of collecting as a kid, what toy lines were you into, blah, 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 blah. I had a cracking time. Stu is awesome, just a super dude. So I'm going to take a self-indulgent moment to just pop a link in chat and ask if you've not already seen it, if you'd be so kind as to head on over there, show Stu some support. But also, if you're interested, we have quite an extensive chat about toys I collected as a kid and lines I took an interest in as I was younger. We talk about some of my other collecting that we don't really touch on a great deal here on MoDXtra Games and Collectibles channel, but I talk about the fighting fantasy book collecting and my collectible card game activity and collecting stuff like Dice Masters in the past and Star Wars card game, etc., etc. So please do give that a watch if you just want a little insight and hear some funny little bantery chat between me and Stu and get to know me a little better about my life and times as a collector. So a moment's self-indulgence. And I thank you for your patience as I was taking that opportunity there. But it's a wonderful series just in general. I watched it long before Stu even before I was even on Stu's radar. He thought to ask me to come along because I know some of the guys who've been interviewed in the past. And he does this little bit at the opening where he shows photos of people's collections. And I have to confess, I said this to Stu in the interview, I had a bit of imposter syndrome because there's some folks in there with these glorious collections, all incredibly displayed, light up cabinets, stuff out everywhere, all sorts of interesting stuff, particularly some of the Star Wars guys have got some, these whole vintage display setups that look tremendous. And then there's like me with a few figures on top of an IKEA bookcase. Do you know what I mean? I felt like a bit of an imposter because just incredible, outstanding collections that are gloriously displayed. So it's worth just checking out to go and have a mooch through and take a look at some of these really lifetime collectors. Again, not to spoil it, but I talked to Stu about the fact that I'm very much on board with this now. Purge it, sell it all on. I'm going to start a new collection. And another thing that's got me excited, I'm about the cult of the new. I'm always moving forward. I get rid of, there's very little vintage stuff still in my hands. But some of these guys have kept their Ninja Turtles or Star Wars figures all the way through from the 80s to today. So it's just a great series to check out in general. But of course, made even greater by the fact that I'm now in those hallowed halls of the My Collecting Life Universal Toy Collector Series Hall of Fame. So obviously giving it even more of a significant celebrity lift with my presence in the roster. Oh dear. So yeah, a little self-indulgence, but if you're interested, you want to get to know me a little better and show a bit of support for Stu, who has a wonderful little channel over there, then. And he does great work, Stu, by the way. His charity work in particular is outstanding. He does these 24-hour live streams that just are really brilliant and raise a lot of money for a children's charity that he's connected to that give kind of Make-A-Wish style experiences over in Florida in Disney. Although the name of the actual charity has suddenly escaped me. So apologies, Stu. I've had a bit of a blank on the name of the charity. That's not good, is it? All right, cool. Well, there you go. That, I think, if I remember rightly, brings me to the end of my prepared material. It says, clicking next. Yep, there we go. General Hawk's back. So that's the end of my prepared material. Will says, sound interesting? I'll give it a view. Yeah, it's about an hour long or so. I just, Stu asked me some questions and I just sort of chun her on about being a collector. Like I say, I talk. There's quite a bit of chat about some of the stuff that you don't see on MoDXtra Games and Collectibles, but are going on in the other MoDXtra spaces like MoDXtra Thrilling Fantasy Adventure, where I do my fighting fantasy book collecting and live playthroughs with my mate and stuff, and the Ministry of Dice there. Well, that's actually what MOD stands for, is Ministry of Dice. I explained the story in the interview as to where all that began. So yeah, if you got an hour free, or want to pop it on like a podcast in the car or something, it doesn't have to be particularly visual because it's a interview conversation. then that'd be wonderful. Yeah, great. All right, there we are. That's the end of the prepared material. As always, I'll open the floor and open up opportunities for any questions. Questions and comments, that was combined there. Any questions? Any questions or comments or anything anyone would like me to talk about briefly before I close it down? I've done my kind of 1 hour Tuesday night stream aim. So if there's anything else you'd like me to talk about, let me know now quickly. Otherwise, I'll get wrapped up after a quick news burst from Chris. Although, again, I'll reiterate, definitely open to feedback, folks, especially for you guys who come and hang out with me regular. If there's some things I can do to bring it to life a bit more, I'm obviously trying to, I'm quite happy to introduce and try a few screen shifts so that I can, like I've done tonight, or the impromptu Santa display, if that's stuff that gives it a bit of energy and helps your viewing experience, then let me know. Or if it detracts, then I need to know as well. Particularly for you guys who come regular, because you make the effort, so you're the ones who get the first say as far as I'm concerned. So do let me know. Or it doesn't have to be in chat now. Just drop me a DM somewhere and give me a heads up. I'm just vamping because I know there's a time delay between me saying stuff and you guys getting it in chat. I can see the different window over there. So Wilfredo is asking, did you place an order on the last HasLab Dragonfly? No, Will, I did not. I just did not at the time it was up. Number one, as I've said many times, the real estate display space for a vehicle of that size is an issue for me. But also at the time they were advertising it, I just did not have I had other things going on with the kids and what have you, holidays, after school clubs, things that needed paying for that just meant I couldn't, couldn't find the budget for it. But I don't consider it all that great a loss. I'd like a Wild Bill, for sure. And Crazy Legs and a Ripcord are nice characters, but I'm not that pained by their absence, and I think that there'll be a retro Wild Bill turn up or something at some point. Keep your eye out on the channel soon. Actually, I've got a Yojo June / convention season wish list. Excuse me, pardon me. Coming down the pipeline. I think. I don't want to open my little planning app thing that I plan my YouTube channel on, but I think I'm planning on that going out on the weekend or before the weekend, maybe on Friday. I can't remember, or certainly early next week. Trying to get it out before Yojo June comes along. And in that wish list, I talk about Wild Bill. Just hint. As to on that note, as to something that I would like to see. But I skipped it. Because, money and space. Same old story, really. Same old story. And then John here says, you might have covered it, Chris, but I just noticed an email from Hasbro and a Black Series archive figure of the Mando Season 2 Ahsoka. What the fuck? That's like the third or fourth time they've released her. Yeah, man, I don't know. And also, there was a big hubbub, Black Series-wise, the other day. I mean, as you well know, John, actually, I'll leave your comment up while I'm talking about it. As you well know, I'm so out with Black Series, like out, like proper, completely disconnected from the line altogether, pay very little attention. Like G-Force was asking me about the Droid Decker the other week, and I was like, yeah, I saw a picture, it looks all right, kind of thing. But I'm so out. But there was a hubbub, because, obviously I know people in circles who are still in. There was a hubbub about the fact that has there been some Black Series figures announced, and then they've just followed it up by saying they're not going to be available in the UK. And then was there not some figures announced that were available in Europe but not available in North America? Was there like a whole thing? I saw a bit of a hubbub going on. I didn't stop on it for very long to truly understand what was happening, because I tell you what I did have my eye on was there was a reissue of the Stormtrooper, wasn't there? And I was like, I kind of like the look of that Stormtrooper. I've always sort of wanted a Stormtrooper, but I had one, but it broke or I lost it. I don't know, or traded it, I think, actually, for something else. And now I regret it and want a Stormtrooper back just to put up there with me, Darth Vader, with me, Boba Fett. But I mean, that's one of the reasons why, getting back to your comment, is that I'm not a big fan of the Disney Plus era Star Wars output. I think of everything, films and TV shows all thrown in. The only thing I've sort of really enjoyed, has been Andor. And I liked the very first early part of Mandalorian season 1, and season 2 was all right. You know what I mean? So, and it's because of these reasons, like, you know, bashing out your 4th Ahsoka or whatever, and how many Mandalorians have they done? Do you know what I mean? And Grogu's. I mean, I bought one Mandalorian because I was sort of a little excited by the character when season 1 came around. But then now I'm not so excited by it. But it's just not engaging at all. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm just one of those hardcore OG trilogy elitists, and you'll not wave me off that. And so if Black Series were punting out like, oh, well, here's a new version of Empire Strikes Back Luke, but we've done some tinkering and improved the face sculpt, or we're finally going to introduce double jointed elbows or something, you know what I mean? Then I might go, oh, okay, you know. But I've got a Han, I've got a Chewie, I've got a Luke, I've got a Vader, got a Boba Fett. Might grab a Stormtrooper if I see it on sale in like Game or something. And there you go, I'm done. So yeah, I didn't see it, but that what you've just pointed out to me there about the 3rd or 4th Ahsoka is exactly the reason why I'm just completely disconnected from Black Series. And you're of a like mind, folks. Jono there says he really couldn't care less about Black Series at this stage. They're reissuing Rex and some other clones in the US only. Right, okay, that'll be the thing I saw the hubbub about then, yeah. Marvel Legends. So John Redmond again in chat. Marvel Legends pulled the same shit with a retro carded Kingpin that was a Pulse US only. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. Will coming in. Yeah, Disney destroys Star Wars. Yeah, no arguments here. And then Bobby says, I like that they made the Super Battle Droid figure a single figure that you don't have to do with the 2-pack. Now with the C-3PO. Yeah, I mean, that was just... Yeah. I mean, what the fact that they've done a single figure is obviously a boon, but just something about the timing and the way around. It's like we Classified when they bring out the Tiger Force version of a character before the mainline version of the character. You're like, well, I know that's telling me that the mainline version is coming down the line. Although, to be fair, I like my Tiger Force Recondo, my Tiger Force Bazooka better than mainline. Just as a random side note. John says, if they included a regular Battle Droid head in that 2-pack, it would have sold gangbusters for army builders, though. Yeah, and again, you know, this is a subject that comes around. I've spoken about this many times. The whole 2-pack and triple-pack thing, or even 5-pack thing, you know, I'm a Legends guy, mystifies me. It just confuses the living shit out of me, because I just don't understand how they can, you know, they construct it in that way that equals making money. So if we look at, I'll speak at it from the Wolverine perspective, but you know, it applies to this sort of Black Series experience too. I'm looking at a 2-pack of a Wolverine and the Lilandra and the Brood Wolverine. That's the one I was thinking of. And I'm thinking, well, I want that Lilandra, but I'm not interested in that Brood Wolverine. And I look at the next release, and it's 2-pack Sabretooth and they're down there. Sabretooth and the casual outfit Wolverine, and the next one is Wolverine with the evil brainwashed. Oh, Jesus, the doing the streams late thing, started saying, you know, the Psylocke when she was brainwashed. The name of the character is completely falling out of my head with the battle armor and stuff. And I look across that and I say, oh, and then they've got the Patch and Grey Hulk in the tuxes, which actually that one as a double pack makes sense to me. So I'm looking across it and I'm going, well, I want a Sabretooth, I want a Lilandra, and I would have probably gone in on the Psylocke as well. So 3 figures you could sell me independently at like what, 25 quid. So you've got £75 potential to make out of me there, revenue. But instead you throw them in double packs and you've put them behind a £50 paywall, And so I've not bought Lilandra and the Brood because I don't want the Brood, but I don't want to pay £50 for Lilandra. I've not bought the Psylocke because I don't want the random black pajamaed Wolverine with it for 50 quid. So I've just done 50 quid on the Sabretooth and the casual clothes Wolverine. But even that aggrieved me because I didn't really want the casual clothes Wolverine, but it was about the only one I could justify in my head to say, well, at least I know I'll get some use out of that Wolverine. So they could have made 75 revenue out of me, but they only made 50 revenue out of me. It became a purchase barrier. It didn't enhance the experience. Or the 5-pack with Strife in it. I just wanted Strife. I wasn't interested in, Pretty Boy and these other random 90s obscure X-villains that appeared in a couple of issues or whatever, or like C-list X-villains. I just wanted the Strife, as an A-list X-villain. Now, it happened that I got one in a sale for an extraordinarily low price. In fact, InDemandToys it was. Sold it off for... I can't remember what I paid, but it was definitely hugely reduced. And I've done it just for the Strife. And in fact, I probably may even sell the Pretty Boy and the Portal guy and all that, and Rampart and stuff. Might get rid of them. So the creating barriers. I wanted a Banshee and I wanted a Forge, and they put both of them in the 3-packs. And I just waited until I saw... Well, the Forge ones, I've never seen that clearanced out, but I saw the Banshee 3-pack clearanced out, so I picked it up. But now I've got a random Gambit and a Jubilee that I don't really want, So the multi-packs don't make sense to me, unless it is like, here is a 2-pack figure collection of a classic Wolverine cover in the 50th anniversary releases that we're doing. There's the famous, white tuxedo patch cover. That makes sense to me. Or if it is a 5-pack, it's here is your Hellfire Club lineup in a 5-pack. That makes sense to me. Although, even then, I only really wanted the White Queen. I mean, Sebastian Shaw might have been quite nice. But you get what I mean. Like, some stuff can make sense, but it makes sense in the context of it is a deluxe release for a 50th anniversary celebration, and it's the 2 figures for a famous cover. Rather than... creating these sort of purchase disincentives. Because that's what it is a purchase disincentive. Makes no sense. But I can only imagine they're doing it because are there people out there going, well, I want that Psylocke, I want that Lilandra, I want that Sabretooth, so I'll buy 3 2-packs and buy 6 figures to get the 3 that I want. I don't know. I don't get the rationale. I don't understand what's going on there. Because I know from my own experience that they've made a third less revenue out of me because that's the approach they took. So there's something there I'm not seeing or not understanding. And if anybody knows, then let me know, enlighten me. If anyone watches this on video on demand, pop it in the comments. I'd love to understand the rationale behind it. Anyway, going back through chat while I had my little rant. Jono says the Hasbro Star Wars team just hate making money. Spitting facts there. Spitting facts. Yeah, it just does not add up, does it? Bobby there, the last figure I got that was Star Wars Black Series is Starkiller single figure. Otherwise, I'm feeling that Star Wars fatigue. Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. Empathise on that one. Right there with you. And then Jono here, same here, was so in for Strife, but no chance of buying a 5-pack for one figure. Yeah, well, I did, but like I say, InDemandToys were just clearing space and were selling some stuff like super, super cheap. In fact, I'm going to quickly log... Was it InDemandToys? I'm pretty sure it was. I'll quickly log in and have a quick look at my account and tell you how much I paid. Although my internet's going super slow because I've got all this going on right now. Got it. I'll also use this as an opportunity to feed the bad habit. Just while that's loading there. And then Jono's next comment. The only 2-pack I picked up are the classified dudes with animals. Everything else is an auto pass. Yeah, I mean, I wish I had your willpower and self-control, because I get the FOMO so bad, dude. I mean, we know that. We know that I'm a FOMO guy. Although I've done pretty good, because I definitely said when I started the channel, I'm not going to buy things just for the sake of reviewing, and I'm not going to buy things that I don't really want. Let's have a look now. So Oh, what's that? Payment status. Oh, have I got something coming? There's something coming soon. I have to check my pre-order spreadsheet because that looks like there's something on the way pretty quick. The Villain 5-pack, blah, 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 shipping address. Where's the price? I'm a legend, see that. 47 quid is what I paid for the 5-pack. So it's still over the odds really for the Strife. But definitely far better than the, what was it, like 120 quid when it first came out. So, yeah, I don't know, maybe I've been a bit of a sucker there. But still, it caught my eye. I was like, yeah, I'll do that for 50. Let's do it. Get a Strife in the collection. But in my head, like I said, I thought, well, for 50 quid, if I can sell on, I think there's some folks out there who might like the Pretty Boy, for example, then I'll close the gap on that, you know what I mean? So, yeah, there you go. There's a lovely little tangent there about multi-packs that I've kind of banged on about before. Maybe that's a video discussion in its own right. I'll do a pre-recorded one on that subject maybe sometime soon. Maybe I already have done. I forget. All right, dudes. Well, that's 11:15. If there's nothing else, I'm going to go away, grab a very quick bit of supper, and then get my head down for Betty Bose. So thanks, guys, for coming and hanging out. Those of you still with me. Oh, John has just quickly asked, are you picking up the new Hulkbuster? No, I don't buy Iron Man-y stuff. So my Marvel Legends collecting is largely X-Men related. I like stuff that taps into my X-Men nostalgia from being a comic book reader through the 90s and early noughties. And then firm classics, you know, so the Black Widow that they just recently did, the anniversary Captain America. I've got a Hulk and one Iron Man, but the real classic looking one that they did a year or two back. I've got my eye on a Thor that I might pick up soon just to kind of complete the lineup. So like solid core characters like that. The Carol Danvers that they've just announced is one that I've pre-ordered, and that's it. Although I'm procrastinating over Luke Cage and Iron Fist. So I just sort of stick to very X-Men is where I go a bit niche, but then just core popular comic book versions of the characters. No MCU, and I very rarely go down the niches. So I'm not in the Spider-Man niche. I'm not in the Iron Man niche. I'm not in the kind of obscure C-list version of Avengers teams, things like that. Definitely no interest in the Marvel cosmic-y stuff. You know, that doesn't float my boat. I'm not a Fantastic Four guy. So yeah, the Hulkbuster's an easy pass for me on that one. Although it does look good, doesn't it? Yeah, I won't deny it looks like a good piece of kit. All right, brilliant. Well, there we go. We'll wrap that one up there then, guys. So thanks very much. A pleasure, as always, to spend an hour or so on a Tuesday night with you wonderful, wonderful people. Please do get in touch if you've got any suggestions, comments, or anything that can help me out, improve this as a viewing experience for you, and help me up my game. Also, if anyone's got any ideas around sort of viewer attraction, you know, what might help me out in terms of getting a few more heads to come along. Otherwise, take it easy. Keep an eye out on the channel for the Superman review that's coming in a day or two's time. And I'll catch you next time. All right, take it easy, folks.